Do you want to invest in the US, get a US visa, and not have to pay any US personal income tax? Well, if that's you, then you better watch this video from beginning to end because I'm going to show you how to do that. Hi, and thank you for joining me to talk U.S. immigration. My name is Andrea Shev, if you don't know me already. I have been doing immigration law for over 20 years now, and I put together this channel to give you clear, concise, and easy to understand information about all different topics on U.S. immigration. Now, I know you are dying to know how you can get a visa, invest in the U.S., and not pay any personal income tax. How do you do it? Watch and see. So how are you going to do it? Well, you have to get 3 things accomplished. First is you have to invest in the U.S. Second, you have to qualify for an e-visa. And third, you have to make sure you are not subject to the substantial presence test. If you can meet all 3 of those things, then you are going to be sitting pretty in the United States without having to pay any U.S. personal income tax while you're here. Now, be aware, this is not related or does not apply to any U.S. citizen or U.S. permanent resident. This is only for e-visa holders, or really in general non-immigrant visa holders. The first order of business is to understand what is an e-visa. Well, an e-visa, I'm going to put a link below this video to a blog that I wrote that will give you more details about the different types of e-visas and go into more depth about what exactly is an e-visa and the qualifications. But the basics are that it is a treaty-based visa. So you have to be a national of certain countries in order to qualify for the visa. And that link will also be below this video to see if your country of nationality is part of the e-visa treaty. And you have to either bring a business over for a country, or buy a U.S. business in order to qualify. The amount you have to invest has to usually be at a very minimum $100,000, but that number is very flexible because it depends on the type of business you're starting. It could cost a lot more than that to start a business here. It could cost a lot more than that to buy particular businesses here, and it can cost a lot more than that to bring over a business into the United States. So that number really is very flexible, but it is usually at a minimum $100,000. You have to grow that business. It has to be a business that's going to grow and expand over time. It has to create enough revenue, not just to support you and your family, but support hiring U.S. citizens into the future and growing and expanding that business over time. They want you to make lots of money so they can charge the business lots of taxes. Now we switch to the taxes issue. I bring that up. So that's how you establish getting the e-visa and you qualify. Now let's talk about how you can be invested in the U.S., have a visa, but not be subject to U.S. income taxes. And the key to that is the substantial presence test. The substantial presence test is a test that was established by the Internal Revenue Service, the tax authority in the United States, to determine if someone that is in the United States temporarily, which is most people on a non-immigrant visa, if they should be subject to U.S. income taxes on their worldwide income. Now, if you meet the substantial presence test, you will be subject to U.S. taxation on your personal income worldwide. If you do not meet the substantial presence test, then you will not be subject to U.S. income tax on your personal income in the United States and worldwide. Now, there are exceptions, and you must talk to your accountant about the detailed details of this, but I'm going to go through exactly what is a substantial presence test, and we can determine if you qualify or you don't once you are able to invest and qualify for the e-visa. So now let's look at the substantial presence test. Here it is. To meet this test, you must be physically present in the United States on at least 31 days during the current year, and 183 days during the 3-year period that includes the current year and the 2 years immediately before that year. And how they count it is all the days you were present in the current year, and 1/3 of the days that you were present in the first year before that current year, and 1/6 of the days you were present in the second year before the current year. Now, here's an example that the IRS actually gives, which is a pretty good example that explains what how it works and how you calculate it. So if you were physically present in the US on 120 days each of the years 21, 22, and 23, to determine if you meet the substantial presence test in the year 2023, they would count the full 120 days of presence that you were here in 2023, 40 days in 2022, which is 1/3 of 120, and 20 days in 2021, which is 1/6 of the 120. Since the total of the 3-year period is only 180 days, you are not considered a resident under the substantial presence test for 2023. So it all goes to that 183 days. In a given year, if you're here 183 days, you're likely going to be subject to the substantial presence test. But if you weren't, they use this 3-year calculation to see if in that current year, after the calculation is done, are you going to be subject to the substantial presence test? So why does the e-visa work so well for people that are trying to avoid the substantial presence test? It works really well because it allows you to have access to the US, work in the US, and invest in the US without having any required amount of days you have to be in the US. So you don't have to be here at all if you don't want to be, if you have an e-visa, and it will not violate the terms of that visa. You can be here 1 day, you can be here 4 months, you can be here 365 days, you can be here 0 days in a given year and not violate the terms of your e-visa, which this in turn allows you the flexibility to control the amount of days you're in the US. It also doesn't require the investor to take a salary. So it doesn't force you to be subject to US payroll issues and all those kinds of things that fall with taking a salary from a US company. So you could own the business, invest in the business, take benefits from the business, grow the business, but not have any personal income tax liability from the business, or more importantly, have personal tax liability in the US on your worldwide income. Okay, it is a great visa. It allows for all these things to happen: access, be able to work, able to bring in other nationals of your country to work for the country for the business in the US. It is such an amazing visa for individuals that are international investors or want that flexibility to be able to move around the world and not be subject to the US income tax scheme while they are investing and moving around the world. All of us have taxable events that happen in our lives that we necessarily have to plan around, and this visa gives you that opportunity. Remember, it is only available to certain nationals that are nationals of countries that qualify under the e-visa treaties with those countries, which again, the link is below. And it allows for a lot of flexibility and a lot of different opportunities that other US visas don't have. So if you're interested in this visa and you want more information, please visit the blog, the link is below, or contact my office. I'm more than happy to walk you through more information on this particular E2 visa and also help you look at the substantial presence test in your particular situation. I highly, highly suggest also that you contact your accountant or your tax advisor to go through with you the substantial presence test to make sure that you fully comprehend and understand it before you jump into anything. Remember, it's a very complex calculation. It changes. There are exceptions. There are exemptions to the rule that you should understand. But the e-visa, I will guarantee you, fits extremely nicely for someone that wants to accomplish the goal of investing, having access in the US without having to be subject to US taxation on their worldwide income. You won't be able to get away from paying US taxes on your US business income. That you can't get away with, but you can avoid paying taxes on your personal income, especially your worldwide personal income. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it gave you an idea that you weren't aware of. And please contact me if you want more information. Check out the links below, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are in the world, and look forward to seeing you on my next video.